I'm Earl Brown, and welcome to episode 3 of Tell the Story, a Jazz Journeys production with our guest, jazz musician Warren Oree. In episode 2, Warren talked about how the neighborhood prophets predicted that he would be lucky if he lived to see age 20. He also talked about how ironic things turned out for him to well outlive those predictions.
One of my oldest sons, one time, he was thinking he was bad. He was what they called back then clocking in Southwest Philadelphia on Reinhardt Street, which is dealing drugs. And I rolled up on him. I rolled up on the street like the police, hit the squeak brakes in the middle of the street, jumped out the car, and he said, "Hey, Mike, there's your pop, there's your pop." And so I said, "Man, come on, get in the car." Now, we weren't that far from 49th and Woodland, where I used to hang. He said, "Pop, I got a reputation to think about." I said, "Oh, yeah?" I said, "Okay, come on." We drove to 49th and Woodland. Fortunately, it was a nice summery night, so the place was jam-packed. We got out the car on 49th Street, and there was this guy named Big Miff, who used to be the killer of killers, standing up against the wall, shriveled up, bent over, looking like a discarded piece of paper. And I said, "You see him? He had a reputation. That's Big Miff. Big Miff could part the sea like Moses. He was the baddest cat on Woodland Avenue. Now look at him. Look what that so-called reputation did for him. People now ignoring him, some even abuse him." So I said, "Don't tell me about no reputation. Get the reputation for being a man of honor and being a man of respect. That's the only reputation you want." When I'm performing and I sort of like revisit some of my past, and prison being one of them, I see me standing on D Block in front of my cell thinking that this is all I'm gonna do in life, be in and out of prison. So when I'm playing the bass is telling me, and the situation is telling me, that's not all you're doing in life. Look at you right now. And that just helps me play so much more intense, so much more passionately, that, because like I said, I can't believe it. I really can't believe that I'm doing it. Even now, believe me, it's tough for me to accept that, man, look at you doing this. Other things I see or hear are all of the naysayers, and that's why a lot of times I tell people, they don't always know what I mean when I say don't listen. Because a lot of times when I'm playing, when I'm performing, I hear all the people say, "Oh man, you can't play no bass, you're 25 years old, what are you gonna do? Or you ain't gonna do this, you ain't gonna amount to nothing." And so while I'm playing, I just feel so good that I'm shoving this right back at them. And even not when I'm playing, because I produce jazz festivals, and I remember the Undefeated Jazz Festival when we first started it on South Street in 2013. There were people who said, "Man, you're not going to be able to get any sponsors. You're not going to be able to do this. You're not going to be able to do that." And when I walked up on that stage the first year and looked out all of those people on South Street, it was a feeling that no high could ever top. No drug could ever give you a high like that felt. And of course, it was a bit of, yeah, I told you so. But I did tell him so. I was going to do it. Matter of fact, I remember telling my partner, Graciela, I would say, we need to give thank you cards to all of the people who said we would never do this, because that was the spark that got us over that last hump. So I'm seeing all of that, and I'm also seeing how easy it is to slip into the negativity of this system. I'm seeing how, I could have went in a lot of directions. Maybe when I was walking up 52nd Street and the guy said, well, I guess you don't want to play, I might have left and said, yeah, okay, I guess I don't. So I'm seeing how important it is to follow your goal, no matter what, no matter how impossible it might seem, no matter how far-fetched it might seem. Just keep at it, keep at it. So I see that when I'm playing them strings and I'm plucking that bass and I hear people applauding the things, it is so crazy, man. It is so crazy because, again, on a spiritual tip, if you believe in God, then you believe in the impossible, because he certainly can make the so-called impossible very possible. But you have to work at it too. I look at it as sort of like a matching grant. You know, you can't just say, oh, God, help me do this, help me do that, and then you're sitting home drinking Kool-Aid looking at the Three Stooges. You know what I mean? You have to be doing something too. And so it's like meeting halfway. So I see all of that and feel all of that. And again, when I'm touching that bass, I still can't believe it. I still can't believe it. The things that keep me going in this business is just how good it feels inside to accomplish what people would say is an impossible goal. That keeps me going. And the other thing, it's kind of, I think, plain and to the point, it just feels so good. Man, it feels so good. This music, you know, again, I think of when I was going to clubs, not even playing, but going to watch the musicians, and to think that I'm up here doing that same thing, that keeps me going. The other thing is, I'm still looking for that sound. I will never say I have nothing to do or I've learned all the music you can learn. No way. I'm still looking for that sound. And in searching for the sound is what is so enjoyable as I'm hearing it. And I realize that looking for that sound and playing this music and feeling so good is more than medicine to me. The other thing is looking at the people, the way they seem to respond. I don't mean the typical response like, ooh, but I mean when you see people are thinking, people are hearing you, people are feeling you when you play and you touch them. I remember this one guy, now a lot of times you have a lot of women, I mean, let's be for real, they come up to you and say all kinds of things, and that's cool, you know. But I remember this one guy came up to us. We were playing at Zanzibar Blue, and this one guy came up and said, man, you all make me want to pray. I'll never forget that. I was like, whoa, you know. So all of those things help me to appreciate and respect what it is I'm doing, and to be so grateful that God gave me the sense to pursue this. So one of my goals is and has been to be completely surrounded by music. And by that I mean either performing it, writing it, giving lectures about it, meditating to it, completely swallowed up by it. And that is always a goal that I'm reaching for, even though it's happening, and I just never feel that I've reached the top, that I've reached the zenith with this. There's always something else I can do musically, and I just want to say how thankful I am that I'm able to do this, and how I appreciate the opportunity and the people I meet that help me help myself. The advice I would give young people and even older people about situations that you find yourself in and behavioral things that you might do is, first of all, let's talk about music. It's called show business. Business is an important part of the show, because without the business, there is no show. So being on time, being ready to perform on time, knowing your business, knowing what kind of charges you might make or how you might present yourself, even knowing how to dress for whatever gig is important. Now, when you broaden that into life, and again, something I tell my children and grandchildren, be a man or a woman of your word. Be known as someone that respects themselves and respects others. It's so important to be a person of your word, because unfortunately today you have so many people who just talk and have no idea on whether they're going to do something or not. So they say, yeah, okay, I'll see you at 3 o'clock. Then at 4 o'clock, you don't even hear from them, and you call them, and they're like, what? Oh, yeah, I got jammed up. So the point is, be a person of your word. Your word has to count. It means everything.
And there you have it. Tell the Story, a Jazz Journeys production with our guest, jazz musician, writer, composer, and arranger, Oree. Be on the lookout for a future podcast. After all, we all have a story to tell. And by the way, don't forget to click the like and subscribe buttons to our channel.